alone. Leave Missy alone. Go play. Go play. Yes. Go play. There's so much excitement going on over here right now. I usually try to start off talking about something, but with so much going on, I can't even talk. Every, everybody's in the mood. Uh-oh. So I have to protect Missy. Well, maybe not. Okay, let's give Missy a break. Come on. Oh, I know what we gotta do. We gotta get a handy dandy. What a way to start the show this morning. I got you, Missy. Yeah. For the Rottweiler. Woo. All right. Now go play with. Go play. Go. She's like, I want the water. I don't want to go play. All right, and I think Missy's free now. All right. Now let's start the show off. Well, that was kind of a crazy start. Normally I don't have this much excitement starting off. Uh, it's okay. It's all good. Ugh. What you guys need to do is play tug of war. Yeah, y'all are ready. Well, I was gonna start off with an update with my puppies, but I guess nature wins out, and we had to change directions this morning. So now it's more about let's manage our playtime. So when I first came on, they were all ganging up on little Missy, you know. So it starts off like a little play, you know. They're like, we're gonna play with Missy, and then next thing you know, they're barking at Missy and cornering her, and it just turns sinister. So I'm like, okay, let's redirect this energy. You two big dogs want to play with each other. Cool, y'all are big, you know, but leave Missy out of it. So I had to spend the opening parts of the show with managing my little puppy in the middle of a mix of our two big ones. MP, hi, what's going on, MP? But luckily, I've got some tools under my belt to control my big dogs whenever they get out of hand. The handy dandy super soaker is the way to go, y'all. If you're having trouble managing your big dogs, they're not listening to you. You know, see if they'll listen to the good old super soaker. Awesome, good to hear. When these dogs see red sometimes, or when they get in the zone, it's hard to kind of get them to pay attention to you or listen to what you're saying because they're so they're locked in and they're focused on their target. So you got to have something, and they're too big for you to just you know, like pat them on the butt or whatever because they're not going to care about that. You know, unless you've locked it in like that, which is good if you do. If you have it locked in where your dog immediately obeys you when they're seeing red, you know, that's the perfect situation there. But if you're not there, you got to have something that they that's effective and that they'll listen to. And so in my case, my Cane Corso, what kind of country are you? Oh, I'm USA, America. I'm in Texas, USA. But anyways, if you don't have something that your dogs will listen to when they're in the heat of the moment, when they're in their level 10, you got to find that, especially with these big dogs, because if you don't, you can have some, you know, they'll keep doing what they're doing, and that could be attacking another dog or attacking another person or whatever. So in my case, my dogs respond to this super soaker. Oh, he's pulling me. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to talk and he's pulling me. But I'm stronger, big boy. I'm stronger. So yeah, that super soaker right there, that is my go-to. And the way I use it is my Cane Corso, he hates being squirted with water. Like that's his pet peeve. He absolutely hates it. and my Rottweiler absolutely loves it. So either way, it stops them from doing what they're doing. So if they're in the middle of a chase and they're dead in heat, if I pull out that super soaker and I squirt him with the water, he stops immediately. Immediately stops no matter what he's doing. And she stops what she's doing immediately, and she just starts playing with the water. So that's my go-to. So if you have a big dog and you're like, I don't, my dog's not listening to me, you may need to find something like that. Now the nice thing about water is it's not going to hurt them. You know what I'm saying? He's afraid of it, but it doesn't hurt him. So I'm not hitting them with a stick, because that actually can exacerbate it. Like if your dog was seeing red and you're trying to get them to stop and you're hitting them with a stick, that may actually encourage them to keep it going. It's like more tension, it's like more violence. It just adds fuel to the flame, you know. So having something that will stop them from what they're doing, getting them to listen to you, is important. So, oh, Hawaii, cool. God is good. X01 says hi. Says hi. What's going on? Good morning. Yeah, Jerry. So they are great dogs. They just get a bad rep, and a lot of the bad rep is because your owners haven't taken the time to figure these things out. You know what I mean? Like they want to rub and play on the dogs, and they want to love on them all day because, they want to take pictures because they're big dogs or whatever, and they don't do all the other stuff that, when these dogs decide that they want to do something bad, you don't know how to control them. And then that's whenever people get upset because they're like, you know, you're a big dog, killed my whatever, and it's like, well, and I'm not gonna always blame the big dog because, bearing in mind there's some people who have small dogs that just like, man, they just don't know what they're doing, and don't have good control, or they have their dog off leash. I mean, I was watching. I'm trying to think of his station now. Oh, I forgot what his name is, but he posted a. I'll get it to you later, but I'll think of it later. But he has a Connie Corso, a black one named Bruce Wayne. What is his name? You guys may know what who I'm talking about. But he had posted a video of his wife holding, I think it was Bruce Wayne, or maybe it was the younger one, Black Connie Corso, and they were out and about. I guess they were somewhere getting ice cream, and some guy, has his little dog, Yapper dog, whatever, trying to challenge this big Connie Corso, and in the middle of the street. And then so my guy with the Black Connie Corso is like, "Are you gonna come get your dog because your dog's getting ready to die?" But the good thing, they had good control over Bruce. I think it's Bruce who they had with him. But it was just like you see that so much. It happened to me. I'm walking my big dogs in the neighborhood. One of my neighbors felt like, oh, it's okay. We're in the country. Nobody's gonna be walking through here. He had this little frou-frou dog off leash, and that frou-frou dog runs out to the street where my dogs are and tries. Something about these little dog complexes. They think that they can challenge these big dogs, and man, I thought that little dog was gone. I thought that dog was gone because my Rottweiler reacted, and then the Connie Corso jumped in, and I thought, man, they were getting ready to just kill this guy's little poodle or whatever his little dog was, and I was so upset about it too. I was like, dude, come get your dog. Why is your dog off leash? I get that on your property, it's cool, right? You in the front yard, you playing around with your little frou-frou dog, and I'm walking my dogs on leash in the street. It's cool until the moment your dog leaves your property and tries to challenge my, oh, big boy, you big boy, you my big boy. When your dog runs out in the street trying to challenge my big dogs, and then you want to holler it's my fault. When your dog takes a bite from this guy. I mean, look at the size of his teeth. That joker, if he get some dirty teeth, boy. That thing, if this Connie Corso takes a bite out of that dog, he would have been a goner. My Rottweiler, man, she would have tore him up. So luckily though, I had good control. I'm not a small guy. You know what I'm saying? I got some muscles, so I pulled my dogs away. But that's the only thing that saved his dog. Because I mean, usually, they're just my dogs are really kind of like sniffing around and just like they're just curious to see other dogs. They're not even trying to like go, kill some other dog. They're just trying to sniff around. But your dog came to my dogs with aggression, and they reacted to your dog's aggression. So, and you know how it is. You try to educate people. I went to Facebook and I was like, "Hey, everybody!" Now I didn't even say anything to this guy. I didn't give his name, his address. I didn't even take a picture of his house or anything. I just said, "Hey, look, friendly reminder. If you want your dogs, in the front yard, you don't have a fence or whatever. Please put a leash on them." You know what I'm saying? I was scared this morning. I thought my dog was going to kill somebody's dog. And, I thought I was doing a community service and kind of educating people because apparently people just don't understand that. They never had big dogs, so they don't understand. But of course, he got offended, man. My neighbor got offended and tried to confront. Hey, boy. Hey, I'm going to have to get my water gun. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Well, hold on. They stopped. They must have heard me say water gun and they stopped. But yeah, man, he was ticked off. He wanted to confront me, talking about if I have some issues, I need to come talk to him directly and blah blah blah, and not through Facebook and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, look, you the one that didn't have your dog on leash. Your dog came out to my big dogs in the middle of the street, and now you want me to come talk to you and not say anything on Facebook and your reputation on. Okay, come on now, come on, you be a little drama queen like your little puppy. Lesbian Ghost is back. Hey, how are you doing? Long time no see. God is good and Rottweilers. Okay, let me go back. Sorry, guys. They're so cute. That was from End of Holovo Christ. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but thank you so much. God is good says I love Cane Corsos or Cane Corso. MP High says what kind of dogs are they? So MP High, this is a Cane Corso. Some people call them Cane Corsos. That's why you saw that different spelling. But Cane Corso, which is it's an Italian Mastiff, and then that's a Rottweiler. Emma Brown. Hi there. Name is Emma Brown and I'm 16. Okay. How are you? Emma Brown, I have a boyfriend and I am. Oh, what? Oh, I don't have okay. Okay, Emma. I am autistic and I have a lot of anxiety and depression. Okay. Well, I will say, Emma, hopefully the dogs don't cause you, hopefully this is relaxing to watch my dogs play. I come on every Sunday about 8:30 and so people who follow my dogs or have been with us because we've been on for about a year now, they're curious how they grow and how they, develop and stuff like that. So I just come on every Sunday and give you guys, a live update, and answer any questions about how they're doing, their health or their exercise or, just what we do, and our challenges too, because that's the other thing that people are coming on here for is because they're interested in getting a big dog and they just want to see somebody training and or living with their big animal like this because it's a whole different ball game when you have something this size that has I mean look at the size of this guy's paws compared to my hand. I mean this guy is pretty massive. If you're used to these little small frou-frou dogs and now you think that you're ready for a big dog, you may want to think twice because they come with a lot more responsibility and you got to know what you're doing. I'm not a trainer myself and I'm not perfect. That's why I have this station because there's a lot of things that I've learned from you guys. I've had some trainers come on and say you need to do blah blah blah, and I'm like, all right, they were spot on. So sharing ideas, sharing all the things that you have to watch out for. There's some other little weird little things that if no one tells you, you won't necessarily know. So that's what I try to do. So we have some highs from Jane Maya. Dara is waving. Hey, what's going on, Dara? Fidel Cartel says, what are the likes, folks? 90 views and 11 likes. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for that promotion there, Fidel. Jane Maya says, kiss me. Okay, well, there, give you some sugar. Here you go. Mwah, mwah. There you go. So Rain gave you some kisses this morning. God's gift to the monkeys. I'm not sure what that means. And Paul's on. Good morning, Paul. Good to see you, man. Jane says, kids. So they're like my kids, I will say, or unless you're asking me a question. I'm not sure if that's a question or a statement. It looks like a statement. Emma Brown says, my dream is to be a rock singer with a rock band, just like Citizen Soldier. Well, guess what, Emma? These days, there is a lot of opportunities with just you and your computer. They've got AI software that can give you the music, can give you the band, give you lyrics. All you need is a little microphone, and you are just ready to rock and roll, and you can be that star today. Big boy. Yeah, big boy. So yeah, they've been really really good today for the most part. I mean, barring the start of this crazy start to the show where they just were going ham on each other and they ganging up on little Missy over there. It's been okay. So last weekend we had to really give this guy some exercise because he's been super hyperactive, and he's warming up to using my treadmill, and he does great, by the way. Him using that treadmill is just such a beautiful thing, such a beautiful thing. So another tip for you guys: if you have a big dog and it's hyperactive, usually, or he's destructive or doing things, not listening and not being calm, it's usually because they're not getting enough exercise. So one thing I picked up from Caesar Milan is like, hey man, just stick that dog on the treadmill, let him burn some of that energy. You know, crank that thing up to maybe 2 or 3 incline or higher. Maybe go slower, but give him more resistance, and then let that guy burn that energy off. And so my first time putting him on the treadmill, he was a little bit resistant to want to be on it because it's like it's weird because the floor moves and it has a motor sound. So to him, it was kind of frightening. So I had to kind of stand right beside him. I put the collar on him, the leash, and I kind of basically steered him back on the treadmill. And then within a couple seconds, he just realized the only thing he had to do was walk or run. And once he settled in and saw the rhythm of it, then it was like, okay, then it was nothing. So I just stood right there beside him the whole time. And his first time on the treadmill, he did like a mile. He did really, really well. So my other means of exercising them is actually on the road. So either I walk them or I use my golf cart over there, and I'll let them run alongside me. And I love the golf cart because I can exercise both the dogs at the same time. And look at him, he's just being so cute. And they can go as fast as they want. I mean, if they want to sprint real fast, then they can just take off, and I can keep up with them. And but the problem, my issue that I'm having is my Rottweiler is a little. Her joints get really really sore after a run or a workout like that. So I try to minimize her activity, long exercise activity, and then I put him on the treadmill so that he gets his workout. She doesn't get overuse injury or whatever she's having, and we're happy that way. So Paul says, "Oh, that's awesome. You have to record that one day. How long is the treadmill? Half hour. Yeah. So I usually just do for distance with him. I just judge him like you really don't want to go. And this is what I was told. I learned this from Melissa. Her and I were talking about how long should you make your dog run or exercise, and so it's with these bigger dogs like this, it's a lot of weight on their joints. Especially with her having already issues with her joints, a lot of joint pain. I try to keep it to around about a mile. I think a mile is just enough where she can handle it. It gets him enough, burns enough energy for the day, and I don't think their joints are hurt. Well, at least his joints aren't really hurt by going that far on a run. So on the treadmill, I get him up to a mile. It may take him, I'd say it takes him about 10, 11 minutes, sometimes 12, because if he slows down, like if he starts slipping back at the end of the treadmill, then I'll slow him down and I'll increase the elevation, the height of it, so he still gets a good workout. But if it's too fast, I don't want him like poop out on, on the treadmill, because they're that way too when I ride them on the golf cart. They'll sprint real fast, and the next thing you know, they just tire out. So then I have to watch them and slow down. make sure that I'm not dragging them down the road. So so that's how I'm approaching that. And Emma says she's very shy. Uh, oh, Paul works higher says beautiful Connie Corso. I have 6 of them in Georgia. Whoa! And also a Rottweiler. So Paul's uh, work high is it her say Workheiser? As got my same situation, but times 2. Corbin has a German Shepherd, Smalls. I've been trying for 1 month to get my dogs on the treadmill. He just doesn't get it. So Smalls, so I don't know what it is with my Cane Corso, but he just seemed to have like he only had that initial shock getting on it, and then after that, for some reason, he let's go get the water hose, guys, or not the water hose, but the super soaker. Oh, it's running out of water. Oh, sorry, Storm. But yeah, he's just and he watches. I mean, he watches me run on the treadmill almost every day. So I wonder if that had anything to do with it. They're just kind of used to it, the sound. They're used to me running on it. So he kind of already has a little bit of trust with the treadmill inherently just from watching me do it all the time. I don't know. That may have a factor in it. But once he got over that initial shock of, and of course I had to kind of make him get back on it too, because he was trying to get off once I turned it on. But once he and I keep the leash on him around his kind of his neck, and I'm holding it above him so that he kind of knows that he has to stay on it. He knows he can't just plop off it. It does take a little bit of strength if he's adamant about getting off of it. But once he starts settling into that jogging, once they start kind of like giving in and jogging, he just stayed on there. And of course, I'm right beside him the whole time. I don't leave him. I don't like tie him up. I've seen, I guess, other people tie him up or whatever and just let him run, but I just stay right by him. And so it's a little work on my part to do that, but I think it's worth it because if he tires out, I can adjust his speed and I can adjust the height. So, and my go-to is I want to make sure he's panting and drooling a little bit. If he's not panting and drooling, then he didn't really get a good workout. So, you know, if he's getting a little slow, then I just go ahead and take down his speed and I increase the incline. Make awesome sauce. I use my golf cart that does 30 miles per hour every day. My dogs run at minimum 3 miles every day. Wow. See, Smalls, I like that. I just, again, I don't think my big dogs can handle 3 miles like that. But I just don't want to chance it. Especially with her joints being already sore. 3 miles seems like a lot. But hey, look, if you have a different setup and it's cool for your dogs, I'm not gonna. Maybe it's a good thing. You should run with your dog. So Jerry, I tried that, and I've got to be honest with you. I'm afraid to run with my dogs because I don't know. When I run, I'm kind of in the zone a little bit, and as long as my dogs are right there beside me, no distractions, we're fine. But what tends to happen is there's somebody in the front yard, somebody's walking their dog, or something's distracting them, and then when they get distracted, I have to kind of redirect them, like and especially if when one acts up, then the other one reacts to they react to each other. You know what I mean? So it's if I'm in a dead zone running and they're just trying to run off real quick to go chase a squirrel or something, and then I go tumbling to the ground. So it just seems like a disaster. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather be stable, either sitting down or just walking. That way, if they react, then I can prepare myself to say, hey, give the correction, say, nope, you're not going to do that. You're going to stay in the heel position or whatever. I have brain space and, I'm not there where I can do both. That's all I'm trying to say. But it's a good idea, though. I would do my personal workout. They get their workout in. That's how we run it. I see dog poop on your lawn. What? Do you see dog poop somewhere? I don't see dog poop. But they do poop in my yard, though. That is one thing they do. I like it when I prefer. Now that's one good thing about having a bigger yard. You know, this is the backyard is about a half an acre. Typically they'll go back here and poop, which is cool. You know, and stay away from the house area up here. But every now and then they'll still poop somewhere up there, and it's like, oh man. So either I scoop it up and just throw it in the back of the yard back here, or just live with it and let the beetles take care of it. Uh, I run 10 miles every day, but don't take my dogs every day. Take my dogs every day with me. Yeah, Smalls, that's awesome. You're in great shape. 10 miles every day. Gosh, man, that means you're not just your average jog person. You're if you can run 10 miles every day, you are a serious athlete. My hats off to you for that. Uh, but but yeah, what would be really nice though is if we had an even larger property. And that's what my wife and I were kind of talking about. Like, can we go for the 5 to 6 to 10 acre lot and then fence in that whole area, and then I could take maybe upgrade my golf cart to something more like durable, and just let these puppies run off leash on my property. You know what I'm saying? Just let them just run right beside me. That would be ideal. I'd love that. But right now we can't do this on this. It's an acre lot, but it's still not enough room for me to just let them chase me free rein on the golf cart. So I have to do it on the street with leashes. Somebody's, I need a treadmill for my dog. Yeah, you got to check it out, John Doe. It's not. I think it's pretty helpful, because this is what I'm after. When he's done working out, this is the way he looks, literally for most of the afternoon. Calm, cool, recovering. Especially. So what I do is I exercise first. Then I feed them, so they get all the running out. They're tired. They eat their food, and then they rest and digest afterwards. You know, and in that order. And the reason being is, you've heard me talk about this before, is that gastric volvulus, wherever when if they eat first and then they go running and their stomach is sloshing around, then all of a sudden it'll slosh and flip on itself or twist and cut off the vascular supply. When you do that, you cause necrosis, and then they have all kinds of gastric symptoms, and eventually will die from sepsis. So you want to be very careful when it comes to working out your dog or letting them aggressively play after they've eaten kibble and water, stuff like that. It's probably different when you're eating like a raw diet, but if you're dealing with kibble and water, that's where you're gonna have that gastric flip if they don't rest and digest. That's mainly with these bigger dogs. So one of the things that I've somebody's laughing. Paul says that's great information. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you. Okay, let me see. Somebody's talking about Emma believing in a good therapist. Okay, please don't do that. Don't be disrespectful to Emma. I can't take my dogs with me. Sorry, I can't bring enough water with me to provide for them. Yeah, because Smalls, you're doing 10 miles. I mean, I don't know. You're gonna have to have a you're gonna have to have a water stop and food. You may have to have some glucose for your dogs just so they can keep going. It's still dark where you live. Is it grip? What are we talking about? I went running with bulls one time. Horrible mistake. Yeah, 3 pounds is like, I think they're validating what I'm saying is that when you try to run and pay attention to your dog. Now, here's the deal. Here's the caveat. I have seen some people do very well running with their dogs. It's usually those little linky German shepherds or Malinois or whatever they run. They're not these big heavy dogs like this. They're real agile, and they're well trained. You can just see that skinny runner with their waist. You know how they have those waist leashes where it's just tied to their waist, and their dog is perfectly trained to be in the heel position the entire run, and it is absolutely successful. I don't got it like that. I don't have it like that. My dogs are not trained to be like that. I don't know if they'll ever be that way. And they don't have to be, because I got workarounds. You know what I'm saying? I've got ways to exercise them without having to do that. Patrick Smith says, hey, say hi. What's up, Patrick? 3 pounds, one rabbit, it was over. Yep, exactly. My dog, not the best walker. 3 pounds, been there, done that. Yeah. I'm not dark thoughts. I'm having, oh, that's what we're talking about. Oh, I get what y'all are saying. I'm behind on the comments. Uh, Yes, definitely, Emma. Please, if you need help, please go reach out to a professional. I mean, we're not, we don't have good, well, at least I don't have good mental health skills when it comes to treatment of patients. That's not what I do for a living. So, but I can try my best to urge you if you do have, if you're having ideation or thought, well, that's a weird word, sorry. If you're having thoughts of doing things to yourself or someone else, I urge you and ask you and plead with you, please go get seen, ask for help to someone who can help you. William, Canals, nice cat you got there. Chloe's grandpa's back. What's going on, Grandpa? How are you doing, man? What give us an update, Grandpa. We've been missing you, man. Let us know what's going on. So yeah, these guys right now they're in the intermission phase right now. So what you're saying is the nice calm before the storm, not that storm, but the storm between the two dogs. And that's how they do. They just kind of go up and down. One minute they're just relaxing and it's all sunny and the birds are chirping, and then out of nowhere one dog goes, and the next thing you know it, they're tussling, and and for them that's just play. It's an aggressive play sometimes, but it's definitely just play. Hey, big boy, big boy. So my biggest struggle right now, like I said, is just kind of making sure her joints stay healthy. Okay, Emma says I'm just weak and tired because my anxiety and depression and my mental health. I heard that. I heard that. Um, I'm sure you've been given some tools to kind of cope, Emma. So, like I said, if this is relaxing to you, watching us talk about dogs and watching my dogs play, and it distracts you in a good way, cool. But if this is not enough help for you, if all your uh, measures that you're taking to treat yourself isn't working, I urge you to get help from a professional. Yeah. Look at. Do y'all see how much hair is coming off of this guy? So if you're unaware, Connie Corsos, even though they have like a short um, fur coat, they shed a lot. Oh my goodness, you would not believe how much between my Rottweiler too, by the way, and she has a longer coat. I know it's getting closer to summertime, so they're kind of getting rid of their winter coats and everything. But my goodness, these guys. And one thing that's helpful, if you get your hands on one of those, they got those brushes with combs on it, and it has like a little trigger on the back to release the hair. That really helps out. Is to comb them out as much as possible, and take a lot of that stuff off. Or you can just let it come off naturally and just deal with all the fur around your house. So you okay, big girl? You okay? Looks like she's about to puke, y'all. You gonna puke? Okay, you held it in. Oh, sweetie. But yeah, her fur is a lot longer. Let me show you how long her fur is. See how much longer her fur is? So she sheds quite a bit as well. But honestly, even though he has a shorter coat, I think he sheds way more than she does. So my robot vac is full every like 2 or 3 days, full of hair. See how she's limping a little bit, y'all? That's what I'm talking about. Like she'll be fine. You saw her earlier running around, just jumping and having a great time. Then she goes from that to just kind of slowly limping around, and now she sits. So yeah, so wife and I are probably gonna take her in sometime this week and get some more X-rays and kind of, because we've been following her joints for a while. She takes the supplements and all, and but it's just not enough. And I think if I think if what she's dealing with is more of a genetic issue, because if you go see her mom's here in town, and so we've visited her mom. Same thing, same has the same kind of like sitting around a lot and kind of not wanting to move around, kind of stiffness, when they walk. So I think there's probably a little bit of genetics going on in there, but we're happy with her. We want to make sure that she has a great life and do the best we can for her. But she's a good girl. I mean, she's full of emotions though. So I don't know if any of you guys have female Rottweilers, but these female Rottweilers, at least my female Rottweiler, is so emotional. She looked at me. She's like, "What are you talking about?" Super emotional, very jealous, very like possessive. Like you're my. It's like my wife always teases her, talking about that she's having to compete with Storm over me because this girl here, she really loves me. So one way you can kind of deal with that, if it's cute and all, great, but if it's a real problem, because your dogs will in fact block you from giving affection to other humans in your family. I don't think that's cute. So you know what I mean? Like if you come home from work and you're trying to give your wife a hug, whatever, and your dog immediately intercepts you and blocks you from your own wife, I don't think that's a good thing. I think that's where you start saying, okay, well that's cute and all, but no, we're gonna set boundaries. Wifey gets a hug first. You move out of the way. The whole Caesar Milan, no touch, no eye contact. What was the third one? No touch, no eye contact, no. What's the third one, guys? Come on. What does Caesar Milan says all the time? Here, Rain, tell me what does Caesar say all the time? No touch, no eye contact, and no whatever it is. You know what I'm trying to say, guys. Caesar Milan is oftentimes educates his humans to just like, look, there's times where you don't need to be always engaging with your dog. Sometimes they have to wait. So when I come home, nope. If wifey's here and I'm greeting wifey first. No touch, no eye contact, and whatever the third one is. The moral of the story is you get no attention until it's your turn. So you support your other human people as coming first, And you say that, well, why treat your dogs like that? I mean, if you don't set boundaries, you're basically saying that they're an equal in your household, and if they're equal in your household, that means they can do whatever they want whenever they want to do it, and that's a problem because dogs don't have the same human social skills as we have, and so if they want to take over an area or a couch or a shoe or whatever, and you don't have any respect there, it can be a problem. So ain't that right, big boy? We gotta have boundaries, don't we? We gotta have them boundaries. Okay, so where did I miss? Yeah, this is my big boy. There's my big boy. Look at them eyes, y'all. I mean, it's like super piercing, Look at them things. He's a cool dog. Oh, there it is. No touch, no talk, no eye contact. Thank you, 3 pounds. You follow. You know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, don't talk to them, don't touch them, and don't give eye contact. Give them a moment to where they settle down, go chill, go sit for a second, and then you're like, oh, there you are, dog. But if you, because a lot of times we do things that are counterintuitive, because we are so excited to see something, happy to see us, which I do love. Don't get me wrong, I do like it that my dogs are happy to see me after the end of a long day of working or whatever. But if that becomes a real problem where they're jumping on me or they're like knocking things over or disrespecting other family members, other human family members, or you know what I mean? Then it's like, okay, I like it, but I have to go against my natural instincts to encourage it and downplay it just for the safety of other people in my family and safety of my other dogs. And it really works, guys. I mean, these dogs get it. They get it. It's just you have to encourage them the right way, because if you encourage them the other way, then they think they're doing the right thing. Blocking for her to block my wife, you know, to get to me, and if I start rubbing on her and giving her love, she thinks that's what I want her to do. I want her to literally block out my wife so that when I come home, she's the first that gets greeted. That's if I encourage that, that's what she's gonna think is the right thing to do. Now, if I discourage that, say nope, sorry, no eye contact, no touch, and no talk, then I address wifey first. What do you get, girl? What is that? A spider? Hey, hey, what kind of spider is that? Oh, that's just a wolf spider. You're good. Go for it. Go play. Play. You good. You're good, baby girl. So we do have a couple critters out here that I have to pay attention to. Gosh, her nails need to be clipped today. We're gonna clip her nails today, guys. But we have scorpions out here. We have black widows, and most of the snakes that I've ever encountered out here are just friendly guys. They're not. I've never seen really on our property anything that's harmful snake wise. Something that they could literally just coexist with and it'd be fine. You know what I mean? Like rat snakes or you know little garter snakes. Nothing dangerous. Well, good, Emma. That's that. Like I said, if watching us is relaxing to you, and just maybe if the sound of my voice is relaxing to you and calms you down, great. But if it's not enough, if everything you've tried doesn't seem to result in you feeling better, and you still have, you know, symptoms that you don't desire, please go get help. So that, if that's anything I can say to you, just realize that sometimes you can't do it on your own. Some breeds are really smart, and if they give them too much leeway, they understand that they're getting away with too much and know they're challenging everybody in the house. Absolutely, 3 pounds knows what they're talking about, guys. You can tell when people come on and have some experience because it correlates with what you have learned, and 3 pounds is spot on here. I'm just feeling broke and tired, excited. Yes, I heard that. I heard that. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys, Carmen, if y'all were interacting cool. Yeah, Grandpa. I think this time around, when you start over again, it's gonna be a difference. Because Grandpa, I was a changed man after a few things. I'll say one of the biggest changing moments in my life is whenever my dogs got parvo, and to watch my dogs suffer the way they did, to go down to almost nothing, and to make it through that event. It really changed me as a owner, and I don't know. You know, it just broke my heart to see my dog suffer like that. You know what I mean? Like you just don't. You think of your dog as always happy and loving and having a wonderful life, and to see them struggle like that. To see my baby, this girl right here. Oh my God, that literally broke me, y'all. I don't know if I told y'all that story or not, but I'll just rehash. Some of you, if you're like long term watchers, you've heard the story before. So I'm gonna try to keep it brief so not to bore you. But when we first got my Rottweiler, and we had two of them, we had her and her brother, and we got them all vaccinated. And my wife and I were like, okay, we're not going anywhere until they're fully vaccinated. We're not going to no dog parks. We're not doing anything. We're just gonna like stay around the house, get vaccinated, then we're off. So they finished their vaccines, and so we're like, all right, we're going on a family vacation. And so we drove all the way out to there's a town called in Texas called Wimberley. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Wimberley or not, but Wimberley is a nice little quaint little town outside of not too far from Austin area, but it's really really peaceful, big trees. I think they're what kind of trees are there? They're not sequoias. I think they're oh gosh, what do you call those trees? The ones that have the knees that come out of the water. I forget what they're called, guys. Anyways, it's a really, really beautiful area, and we rented an Airbnb that was dog friendly, and they did a great job. They made it where they had like a fenced-in area for your pets, and it was a great little place. We brought at the time I called them twins. We brought the twins out there, which is her and her brother, and we went out there to the because there's a big river that goes through there, and so we took them out there, and they played, they swam. We had a wonderful time, y'all. And then 2 weeks later, we noticed that Storm was acting a little strange, and she was a little bit lethargic, and then she kept pooping a lot, and we're like, oh, something's going on here. And we're like, okay, well, maybe she's got some issue, maybe it'll pass or whatever, but she wasn't getting any better. And so we're like, we need to take her in. So my wife and I put her in the back seat, and at the time, this is during COVID, y'all. So when we got to the hospital, vet hospital, we had to stay in the car. They were bringing the nurses out to us to get the history, and then also to take a couple tests, whatever. And we were like, okay, cool. Maybe we could just get this viral thing taken care of. No big deal. So they went back inside after the initial visit. The second time they came back, the nurse was fully gowned, and my wife and I looked at each other like, and then my wife just started crying because it was almost like we knew what they were gonna say. We knew that they were gonna say that she had parvo, and we're scratching our heads because we're like, listen, our dogs are vaccinated, so I don't know. And then of course they were like, we're gonna have to hospitalize. Gave them permission, but she said they have to hospitalize her because they die from the dehydration from all the poop and not eating, vomiting, all that stuff. And so in order to manage that, they had to have her inpatient, gave her IV, give her just round around the clock medications, and so she was in the hospital. I would say about almost a week before the other Rottweiler started having symptoms, but his were a little less than hers, which kind of makes me feel like maybe the vaccine that he got was partially working, but whatever lot that they were vaccinated with wasn't completely stable or didn't work as well as intended. And and of course, we did find out. Here's a tip for you guys: if your dog gets any kind of disease that they're vaccinated against, and there's proof of the vaccination, your vet should have the lot number and everything documented in their soap note, identifying what company that they were vaccinated with or by. What is the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? Has that proof. If they end up with that disease, you can actually petition the company that makes the vaccine, and they will contribute to the medical bills. And they capped out at, I want to say, $5,000 per dog, whatever. So they didn't pay the entire bill, but it was helpful. It was very, very helpful because we were we had insurance. We used USAA, and we got insurance on all three of the dogs prior to. And you know how it is when you get insurance on something, and you're like, yeah, well, do I really need it? Do I need the full coverage? What's the likelihood of anything happening? And so my wife and I were just having the conversation, saying we're paying all this money on these dogs for insurance, and we're not getting any benefit. Let's cut it off. And my wife even took the bill, and she was gonna after work she was gonna call and cancel it. So she stuffed the bill in the pocket of the car, and forgot about it, y'all. She forgot about it and didn't cancel the insurance. So when this parvo thing happened, I'm thinking, we just canceled the insurance policy. Oh my God. And then wife is like, no, I actually didn't get around to doing that. And I was like, what? We lucked out, y'all. Big time. Lucked out. We lucked out. Let me tell you, when I say we lucked out, we lucked out. We maxed out both of those policies on those dogs, on her and her brother. It was 10 grand each. Maxed them out, y'all. $20,000 we got, plus the money from the drug company. We made out. We didn't have to pay very much. I think the bill was like, I don't know, 30 some $1,000. You know, 30 some, because she was in for a week and a half, and the other dog was her brother was in for about a week. And they called us every day with the update of how much the bill was, and they made sure we were okay with them still being inpatient. And I was like, yeah, save my dogs. We love them. We don't want we don't want our dogs to die. You know, so let me go back to right whenever she was in the middle, because again they weren't letting us see the dogs. There was like no contact with our dogs. They had parvo, and matter of fact, they were like, where did they poop in the yard? Because they had to go and like disinfect. Again, we didn't know. We had no clue that they had parvo. So we had to kind of go back trace and say, yeah, we let them out to go pee or poop over here. So they had to go and literally just put a bunch of chemicals out there to kill the parvo virus. And so finally, I think closer to the end of her hospital stay, they let us come in they basically had a room set up where we could interact with her. And y'all, that's when I broke. When I saw my baby, this dog here, lost all of that weight. She was just emaciated, skin and bones and fur. And what broke me was I don't know that she recognized me. And that hurt, y'all. When your dog doesn't recognize, they're so sick they don't recognize who you are. Oh my God. You talking about the emotions that were going through my, like, oh man, you, man, I don't even want to talk about it too much. I may start crying. But you know what I mean, guys. That was tough. That was extremely tough to deal with. Um, but luckily, she made it home. We had a whole regimen of medications that she had to keep up going. Pills and liquids, and it was a long journey. It was a very, very long journey, but she made it out as if nothing happened. So my point in saying all that was, I guess I dramatized that story. Is just that when you go through things like that, it really changes you as a human being. It changes you as a dog owner, and makes you really, really cautious. What did y'all find? What do you hear? What's going on? You wanna go? You wanna go see? Let's go see. Let's go see what that is. Let's go see who's barking. Come on. You wanna go? Wanna go see who's barking? Okay, let's go. All right. Hopefully the internet stays intact while I get away from. While we. You're not gonna go? You wanna stay around at the pool? Okay. Let's go find out. All right. Let's go see what Rain ran off to go look at. Hey, Rain. What's going on, buddy? What do you see? Missy's even out here. Hey, big boy. What you find? What'd you find? Nothing? You didn't find anything? Okay. All right. All right. Back to the comments, guys. I know I've been kind of talking about parvo and going crazy on my little my breakdowns here. Uh, uh, I don't know what Dale's talking about. Okay. uh, with that big yard, $20,000 for dogs. Dale, I don't know. I'm reading your comments. I'm not sure you're coming from a good place here. Yeah, parvo is very hectic. Yep, it is. It is. If you're unfamiliar with parvo, it is a viral disease that your dog can get, and it lives in the soil for years. Not very many things can kill it, and you got to be careful with having puppies. It's mainly an issue with puppies when they get it. So if some dog has parvo, that's one thing that makes dog parks a little bit dangerous, because if you have a dog that has parvo and they're pooping all over the dog park, and then you bring your little puppy there, maybe they're unvaccinated or they're new to being vaccinated, or the vaccine doesn't work very well. It could put your dog at risk, and if you're not willing to ride the waves, like and have maybe either have money or have an insurance policy to help deal with that issue, then you could lose your dog. So just a heads up with parvo. There's other things too to worry about too, like distemper and all that good stuff like that. So there are other viral things out there. Pet insurance is so important to have, just in case you never know, especially with large breeds. Yes, Paul, I would have never, if I had not had that experience and not have that scare of almost canceling my insurance, I would have never known. So I'm just like, I encourage you, if you can afford it. I know, and it is expensive. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. What is our bill? I want to say it's about $100 for a little bit over $100 for all three of my dogs. But in the case where the peace of mind that it offers for me and the family, if anything happens to my dogs, and I'm working with a company that really they were very helpful, y'all. I mean, most people, demonize insurance company, because I get it, but These guys were super helpful. They reached out to the vet to get some of the more information to make sure that that claim got submitted appropriately. Like it was really helpful. So they were really helpful. I'm getting things financially ready before I get another dog. Yes, Grandpa, make sure you have your finances ready for a big for big dogs or any dogs really. Carmen says he's beautiful. Thank you, Carmen. Do you have any chickens, ducks? So Anthony Casey, um, I wish we could have chickens and ducks. They don't let us have chickens and ducks in our community for some reason. That's it's makes no sense because the chickens will eat all the little bugs and stuff that are in the grass and the scorpions too. You know, he got bit by a scorpion one time on his muzzle, and we freaked out. We were like, "What do we do? What do we do?" But he did well. He did okay. I'm trying to remember if we gave him Benadryl or something like that. Uh, we looked it up first before we gave him anything, and then we watched him, make sure he didn't have any reaction to like some sort of anaphylactic reaction or stuff like that. He was fine. Staffies are lovely dogs. Yes, a lot of people think that a dog's only expense are dog food and collar and leashes. It's so much more. 3 pounds. You're speaking from experience. My dogs, they are. You know, I feel blessed because I do feel like they are to some degree. Uh, I don't want to sound pretentious, but it's a luxury because the amount of money that you have to spend to make sure that the right way. Like if you really care and love for your dogs, they need things. They're gonna need vets. They're gonna need more than just a collar. They're gonna need um, uh, what can I say? More things that like beds and stuff around the house. Like we just bought a brand new bed for because with these guys, these beds, they last. If you buy the very expensive durable ones over $100 per bed, but even those after a while they start to stink because they come out here, they roll around, and and you don't really want to wash your dog like every week or every day, because they you can dry out their skin and all that good stuff. And I know people use oatmeals and stuff like that, but I really try not to wash my dogs, more than once a month maybe. I just, maybe spruce them up or brush them up or whatever. If they really need it, fine. But I try to be kind to their skin and all those chemicals that they put in those soaps and stuff. Just gotta be careful. So I just take it easy. But anyway, my point is that they need new beds. Those things are not cheap at all, man. If you want to try to socialize your dog and they need to be in the back seat, I typically have buy covers for them. And I don't know. The list goes on and on. I wish my wife was here. She could itemize kind of the thousands of dollars that we've spent on our. I mean, we used to have a pet sitter come every day when we were both working a lot, and we're like, look, our dogs need more interaction. And I'm telling you, if you can afford to have a pet sitter, a good pet sitter, they are worth their weight in gold. She was amazing. That lady, she a lot of things that we wouldn't have known about our dogs. She clued us in. She texted us every visit. She texted and sent pictures. It was amazing. I loved her, but it cost money, y'all. It cost money. DD Saracen's like, what are the other expensive? Yeah, so I'm getting around to a lot of the expenses right now. Uh, I don't have the right license. They took my dogs, find me, and I'm still looking at 90 days. Oh, uh, Grandpa, I wasn't aware of that. Oh man, I hope you make it through that, Grandpa, because that is harsh. You have to have a listen to have a dog. You have to have a listen license. No, 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 no. I mean, for me, I don't have no, I don't have a license here in Texas, United States. We don't need license for like dogs like this. I mean, it's excuse me, guys, my allergies. I apologize, man. I know that sounded gross, but I've been having a lot of allergy symptoms back here. But no, we don't need license for our dogs. It's usually the problem is if your dog and if it bites another animal or another human being, that's whenever you have a bunch of issues with fines and things like that. It is a very serious matter when you have a big dog or any dog to bite somebody. It's a very serious matter. And so one of my goals, especially with this channel, is just kind of share what I have done to try to prevent, minimize. I don't know if the word is prevent, but minimize is to the lowest risk possible for a dog bite when it comes to these guys here. Because once this sweet guy here, once he's laid them big teeth in somebody that's not a family member or whatever, we're done. You're done for, you know. And it may not even be necessarily, maybe some kid was taunting your dog at the fence line and throwing stuff, whatever, and maybe your dog was just only reacting to what was being done to him. But as soon as that dog bites somebody else, it's over, man. You have all these issues, and and that person complains, of course, but you know what they're not going to do. They're not going to say, "Oh, my kid was terrorizing your dog and throwing stuff at him," and they're not going to say that. They're going to say, "My kid got bit by your monster killer dog, and it needs to be put down, and you're a terrible owner. I can't believe you have even a dog. You don't have the right to." I mean, they just dramatize it like it was like your kid didn't just walk along the street like everyone else. No, your kid was messing with my dog. But that's never going to be. So one thing I've done is I put cameras up. And I make sure that every angle, wherever there's a gate, there's a camera set up. So if anyone's messing around with my dogs along any fence line, they're gonna be caught on camera. Because I'm like, okay, guys, I went through great lengths. You talk about expense. How much do you think this fence? It's a basic wooden fence. It's a half an acre around. But how much do you think? I mean, this house didn't come with that. I had to pay for that. Actually, I started off with a temporary fence around here. I built a temporary fence with a T-post, but then my goal was to have my dogs have access to the full yard. So that was a $16,000 expense. That other people don't necessarily spend. You know what I mean? But I did that mainly for protection of my dogs. I wanted to make sure it was high enough they wouldn't jump over it, and I don't have the like Malinois or whatever that's going to jump over the fence. My dogs typically don't care about jumping over a fence, but they don't even jump over this little fence. They just don't like that kind of stuff. But that was an expense that we assumed day one to make sure that our dogs were secluded and safe in their yard and not going to run off and bite somebody. Uh, so yeah, and so those things, you do your best and hope for the best and hope that everything works out. But even at your best, I guarantee you, if my dogs wanted to and had the desire to do it, and let's say I was at work all day long. Let's say somebody was I mean, because this yard, this soil is very sandy. My dogs can dig 6 feet on the ground if they underneath the ground if they wanted to. They technically could dig underneath that fence line and go bite somebody. Okay, and I mean, I'd have no control over that. Okay, let's say my wife and I both at work, whatever. Nobody's here. My dogs have access to the backyard. We want them to be able to poop and pee when they need to poop and pee, so we don't put them in crates all day long. We have started at the beginning doing that. We used to do that when they were puppies. We crate train them, make sure they can stay in there. But you only want to stay in there like, what's the formula? Every month that they're 8, I forgot how it is, but there's a formula for how long your dogs are supposed to be in a kennel, and you can't overdo that. When they're puppies, they need to be let out to go pee and stuff like that. Anyways, my point in what I'm saying is that if let's say that we're gone for 8 hours a day, somebody's messing with my dogs on purpose, they can dig underneath that fence and then they can go bite them. There's not. I don't know what I can do to stop that. Beyond my control. I have a fence set up. Got I have signs. I haven't put my signs up, but I do have signs that beware a dog. But if someone ignores the signs or whatever, what are you gonna do? And theoretically, they could have a case. But that's why I have cameras set up just in case. I have some proof that look, my dogs were doing their sweet thing. You came along and started messing around my dogs, and this is how it went down. But so Grandpa says you need to train dogs fence etiquette. Yeah, I mean, for my dogs, it's been difficult to do that. I will say though that they don't challenge. I've never seen them dig underneath the fence to get out. and I've never seen them challenge the fence to push the gate open or anything like that. So I don't know if that's just a natural thing for them not to care about doing things like that. But I never try to put anything past my dogs. So when my neighbor on this side was complaining that my Cane Corso was being really aggressive to him, and when I'm out here with him, I correct him. Okay, so if I catch him barking at the fence line at my neighbors, I say no, because I know there's an idea that, hey, they're just doing their job, they're just protecting their territory. But for me, I think these people you see every day or every other day, they're neighbors. There's no need to bark and do that. So I discourage that. When our neighbors come to the fence line. Now, someone you don't know, okay, fine, bark at the cool. But if they're neighbors, I discourage that. So when my neighbor complained that my dog was barking at him and almost nipped him through the fence line, I had to take action. Because I'm like, okay, well, you just told me that my dog almost bit you. You know what I mean? So I went and I put cattle panel. What you see there is double. You see one fence line, and then you see a cattle panel leaning against the fence, and that gives them about a 2 feet separation between my yard and that fence line. Um, that cattle panel is not cheap, by the way, guys. Every 16 feet, it's $50, about $50. So, and that's about 100 and some odd feet. So, just know that there's more expense there. uh, Mr. Rep Van Winkle, what's going on? Rain is, what's the word? Rain is in the house. Mr. Rip Van Winkle's in the house. Um, honestly, Grandpa says, I honestly have two fences where my dogs normally go out. Then the outer fence is for whenever I'm there with them, but have privacy fence. Yeah. So sometimes you have to do that, right? You have to have these like double protection just to make sure everything's kosher and safe. So for the longest time, we had the inner fence in here, and where they would come out the little back door of the house, they had access to a little bit of yard here, and then they'd go back inside the house. Now they have challenged pushing that little gate open, and I said, so push come to shove, I could try to block off that access, and they should respect that. But should is a as you can tell, that fence is not high enough. This dog could easily jump over that or just lean on it and break it. Okay, so I prefer that not to be the scenario. So we got an outer bigger fence, fence number two, and it's all the way around too, guys. I mean, it's not just on both, it's all the way around. But yeah, so Grandpa, right? No matter what you do, there's you try your best to plug in all the holes, and sometimes there's something that you can't predict. So you see, my dogs don't wear collars. Those collars can be a hazard to them. So to minimize that risk, I take off all the collars. You know, but there's no way to be 100% certain that nothing will happen unless you're putting them in kennels all day. You know, which I don't want that life for my dog. I want them to come out here and do this and relax, enjoy the weather, and then have a good life. So, anyways, guys, if y'all have any more burning questions, I was doing a lot of talking. Oh, Southern Mofo showed up. Hey, what's up, Southern Mofo? I missed you, man. I'm trying to see if I missed any pertinent comments. If not, if you guys can jump in and give me some more comments that were pertinent, and then I can answer that before I go. And thank you guys for the thumbs up. I got 39 today, so appreciate y'all. Y'all are wonderful. The dogs appreciate it. Say thank you. Tell them thank you. Say thank you for the thumbs up. Say thank you. Oh, he said thank you, guys. He says thank you for the thumbs up. But we'll be back next Sunday. And if y'all have any other questions or anything, or any other burning comments, like I said, you can just comment on any of my videos. We do a lot of short videos, and we do a lot of lives, and we do a lot. So just any one of those videos, just try to hit me up. And usually the less popular ones, I do have a couple videos where I get kind of tons of comments. they're like 9 million views, and so there's thousands of comments on there. So it's hard for me to kind of follow that. I've kind of like, yay, it's did great. So I'm not gonna be able to. But if you find one of those videos where there's not many comments, I usually can see that I can pick up on those. So just chime in onto them, some of those little smaller videos that don't have a lot of comments, and ask me a question. I can kind of catch them that way. Or if not, just come back on next Sunday, and this we can have fun and hang out again like we do every Sunday at 8:30 Eastern. Sorry, Eastern. Oh, what am I thinking? Eastern, Central Standard Time, and we'll just hash it out then. All right, yeah, Grandpa, stay safe to you as well. Thanks for hanging out and thanks for coming. I'm glad to see you back, man. It was a minute. Thank you, Paul, for coming in and moderating. You're awesome, man. Appreciate your comments and your wisdom. And everyone else, have a good weekend. The rest of the weekend. See ya. Have a good day. Oh, thanks, 3 pounds. I heard that. I heard that, Grandpa. Okay, I'm out, guys.